from the First Street Studios in South Tampa, Florida, it's time for another round of Last Call 76 with your host, Dan, Jay, and behind the camera, the one and only Jess.
What do you think about these massive baseball contracts, man?
You're talking about Shohei Ohtani?
Well, perhaps.
$70 million, $700 million from one player. So Shohei's an exceptional baseball player. He's unlike anything we've ever seen. And I know people say Babe Ruth did it too, not at the same time. Okay, there's a reason Babe Ruth became a full-time hitter, because he couldn't do both, and it's tough. $700 million, Dan, $70 million.
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years, $70 million a year, that's a lot. And I know they've backloaded it. They've it's deferred $2 million this year, which is basically what, your 40-man on the 40-man roster. I don't care, man. Because the problem is, that's not going to get pushed off on the owners. That's not going to get, the owners are going to make it up. That's going to get pushed off on you and me and Jessica and every human being watching this that wants to go to a baseball game. I actually saw a little graphic online. Dodger tickets that were already $600 ahead, now are going for over triple that amount to see Ohtani pitch. It's just, this is why sports have become the rich man's game, because contracts like this are being handed out hand over fist. Like, I get it. Okay, back in the day, we had guys like Joe DiMaggio and Willie Mays, and before our lifetime, who were the best had to go get full-time jobs in the offseason. I understand it should not be that way, and I understand the owners. The money should not go in the pocket of all the owners. But at the same time, there has to be some kind of line drawn. I mean, eventually. You remember when they said Nolan Ryan getting $1 million was going to break the sport? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, you're getting $1 million to sit the bench and never see the light of day in a baseball field. You're getting, if you're an NFL, you're a punter making $1 million. It's absurd.
So what are you asking?
I think we put it on X. I put it on,
I guess
I got to somehow stop this salary match. I mean, because teams that are making, I'll just put it, Ohtani is going to be making more next season than 8 major league franchises' entire payroll. And we have a mailbag question. I don't want to defecate on that. But.
Yeah, I think what we're looking at across all sports right now is the wage doesn't compete with the sport.
Right.
And with that being said, it gets passed down to the consumer.
Yeah.
So, and there's things that people don't understand is the consumer can only do these games maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah.
If you outprice the fan base, then there's a problem there.
Yeah.
So this is huge. This goes in line kind of with the Patrick Mahomes deal. Mm-hmm. And at some point, the fan can just not stay in the fight with its team.
Mm.
I mean, there are people struggling in America right now. I mean, you can deny it all you want, but if your average police job in, say, Tampa, Florida is $50,000 a year, well, your season tickets are $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
So just do the math on that. And then when we go to the Buck Stadium, Jess, and you've been there with me, we're paying what, $15 a beer. You're paying $15 to eat. You got 2 kids joining the party. Now we're at $100, $50, $60 to park, $300 in tickets. You're outpricing the economy. And if they continue to do this, and especially with all the other things in college football, with the NIL and all the other sports, at some point, this is going to become like the Super Bowl, where only rich people can go.
Yep.
The problem with that, though, is there is only one Super Bowl.
Right.
But there is still hundreds of games that have to be played before that. But are we going to basically outprice our fan base?
We're beginning to.
And it's the start. This is the downward spiral of sports. People can say what they want, but economically, you can't sustain it.
No.
I mean, when you go to the grocery store, when the cart was filled at $150 3 years ago, and now it's $400, and it's the same product, it's the same thing that's going on in sports. Yeah. Your kid wants a jersey, right? We want to be good parents. We want to make this a spectacle, right, for our children.
Yeah.
You can't buy my daughter Sydney and my 2 sons, Logan and Tanner, $150 jerseys, plus $500 and $600 in tickets.
Yeah.
$150 in food, $60 in parking. You are pricing out the average middle-class human being And you are basically crucifying the fan base by the enormous prices of the league.
Yeah.
And what you're going to get is what the Super Bowl is now at 10, 15, what was ours? 20,000?
Yeah.
I mean, $20,000 a ticket, $15,000 a ticket. That used to be like the pinnacle to the blue collar fan, how this sport was built.
I can tell you this. Super Bowl, one of the Super Bowls, I worked there in Arizona. The 2014 one between Seattle and New England. I had to cover it with the media, but tickets for that were going between $7,000 and $15,000.
Yeah.
Word to the mouth last year, because my father's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, to get just in the door, you're talking $10,000. That is to sit in the highest seat in the stadium. And it's not stopping there, Dan. The thing we used to enjoy on that TV screen behind us that was for free on cable television or even on rabbit ears, now they're moving it. We're seeing it in the playoff games. They're moving in the Peacock. Within 5 to 10 years, every football game will be behind a subscription paywall, not a prescription, because I'm going to need prescription to keep up with all this.
And the Super Bowl will probably be pay-per-view.
And the Super Bowl is going to be pay-per-view. So the things that were free, we won't even get that anymore. It's nonsense.
But where is going to be the breaking point? Because the fans
will keep coming.
Well, the fans ultimately will continue to come, but the wallet is the biggest voter in America.
Right.
And at some point, when you break the bank, okay, the strikes start happening, everything else goes bad, and then you have to reset everything again. And we've seen it in all sports, right? And if this economy continues to go the way it's going, you are basically leaving this only to the rich people to participate in the stadium, the prop, right? Mm-hmm. We'll still watch it. But guess what? I've got 90 subscriptions to different sport networks. Yeah. It's $5, $4, right? But it's still $300. Right. Then you got your basic cable and internet's $200. Mm-hmm. Okay, now your car payments that used to be $200-$300 for 5 years, now they're $1,000 for 7 years. The bank is going to bust. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Sports will bust with it. Unfortunately, because people aren't going to pay for what they're used to seeing for free. No, there are people that will, like me, because I need to stay up on sports, right? And I need to read everything. But who's the average consumer, Jessica? I mean, at some point, with all the insurance going up, all the storms that happen here in Florida, look at our insurance. It went up 35, 40%. Well, to the average consumer, their wage didn't go up. So, and then their car payments, and then their auto insurance went up from $200 to $400 because it's a no-fault state, right? Right. Just using Florida as an example.
All the extras go first.
So, where's the breaking point?
Right.
I'd like to know. I don't have an answer for it, but I can tell you this: if the season tickets keep going up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for 8 games, I'm not paying that.
That's absurd.
I'm not paying that. And you know what? I'll be the first one to tell you, I love sports more than anybody. And sure, I can afford it. But I have places that I would rather put my money into the show we do. Right. Or, you know what I mean, Jessica? It's like, where's my priorities?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, but that's what's going to keep happening. The consumer is absorbing this. The jersey sales are going up. Yep. The food sales are going up, right? So if you think about it, if you go to the Ray J, you got an employee who's getting paid $11 an hour. He sells 1 beer. You just paid his hourly rate. Well, they sold 600 beers in between there.
Yeah, I think they gotta take care of their team thing too. But don't even get me on cheerleaders. They're not getting paid squat.
No, not them. Mm-mm.
So you know what I mean?
Per diem.
It's unproportionately distributed for sure, and it just hinders the game in itself.
It really does. It makes them.
It's gonna catch up.
That's what I mean. There's got what's the means to the end, or the ends to the means, right? I mean, however you want to look at it. But they're actually, and they know this is coming. And look, NASCAR is feeling it, right? NBA's feeling it.
Oh yeah.
Baseball's feeling it. Yep. Hockey's feeling it. So guess what? The NFL's next.
Well, baseball is the affordable sport. That's the thing. You go to a baseball game in most places and spend under $100 and get 4 tickets. Not anymore.
Nope.
Not anymore. You used to be able, I said, you go to the Pittsburgh Pirates or Tampa Bay Rays, and maybe you still can because they're the lower salary teams. You can go spend $20, $30 and get decent seats. Forget it. you ain't even getting in the door for that. For a family of four, you're spending $200 to go watch a baseball game. It's not right. It's not right. I'll just say this. You're going to watch a baseball game, find your local minor league team. You get the same quality product. You get personalized attention. And, you're paying $10. It's the same thing. But it's just sad. It's sad. It's become a rich man's sport, become for the rich. And it's taken away from people like, the common man that watches to keep themselves.
So we're going to see. We'll look at this. We'll revisit it next year. And you see, as long as the economy continues to be in this situation, people are going to walk away.
Exactly.
They'll watch it on TV. And guess what? Then the whole economy thing does have a factor.
It does.
And the wallet, no matter what, the wallet ends up being the main voter of your family. You're
Absolutely.
All right, that's enough on that. We'll get back. This episode of Last Call was brought to you by SJP Snapshots and Minx Inc. Clothing and Apparel.